we aim for high score through smart learning, optimum utilization of time, and less stress. Today, we are going to discuss the chapter 100 Dresses Part 1 by Elves or Esther. Now, I will not take up line by line explanation, but I'll take up explanation of all the important paragraphs and the paragraphs and lines that were important from the extract point of view. So I have done this so that it serves as a quick revision for you. So let's get started. So from page 64, it's Monday, and Wanda Petronsky, around whom the whole story revolves, was absent from the school. This is Wanda, and we are told that it is Monday and Wanda is absent. But nobody noticed her absence. Not even Peggy and Madeline, so she's called Maddie in the rest of the chapter, who started all the fun. Now, what fun? This we are not told yet. So here we have Peggy and we have Madeline. Then we are told where Wanda usually sat in the classroom. So this also serves as a question. Where in the classroom does Wanda sit and why? So this is a textbook question on page number 65, and here we have Wanda sitting all alone and quiet with sad, depressive eyes. And here is the answer. So usually Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was a most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. So this is the description of the place, description of the corner where Wanda used to sit. Now the second part of the question is why? So Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. So maybe she sat there because she came all the way from Boggins Heights and her feet, they were usually caked with dry mud. So this is the reason why she sat there, because she came from Boggins Heights. So Boggins Heights, it was not a very posh area. So the roads, they were very dusty. So since Wanda came from Boggins Heights, her feet, they were usually caked with dry mud, and therefore she sat in that dusty corner. Wanda rarely smiled. Then we are told that she rarely smiled in the name of smile. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. So we have already seen Wanda sitting quietly in a corner. Now, once she sat in a corner, she became invisible to all. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. So all these blue lines, these are the lines that I've taken direct from the chapter. So these can serve as extracts. So here we have Wanda sitting all alone in a corner of the room. Then when did they think about her? Now since we are told that Wanda, once she sat at her place, nobody thought about her, she became invisible, then when did all her classmates or the children in the school thought about her? Outside the school hours, at noontime or early in the morning before school. So but why? So these were the times when usually children, they thought about her. Now what was the reason? Why only at these times? Now it is often observed that students stand in groups after school hours in the school ground or corridors or near canteen talking and laughing on their way. So we have seen normally, so all the students were after the school dispersal, they are standing at these places in the ground or corridors or near the canteen. So they are talking and they are laughing. So similarly, here also the students used to stand and laugh. So during these times, they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. So that is why during these times they thought of Wanda, and otherwise in the classroom, she became invisible to all. So now what is the meaning of to have fun with her? So here it means to tease her, to laugh at her. So next day, obviously it was Tuesday, and Wanda was again absent from the school, and again nobody noticed. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, they noticed her absence. So what happened on Wednesday? What was so special? But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't, track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wanda wasn't there. Here, we are told about Peggy then. So now let's see who is Peggy and what kind of girl Peggy was. So this is Peggy. Peggy was the most popular girl in the school. She was pretty, she had pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend, almost inseparable from her. So, Maddie, we are told, very close to Peggy and almost inseparable. So, this is Maddie. Now, when and why do Peggy and Maddie notice Wanda's absence, or why were they late for school? So, this is the textbook question on page number 65. And the answer is Peggy and Maddie often waited for Wanda before the school to have some fun with her. On Wednesday also, they had waited for her, but she did not come. So, waiting for her there made them late for the school, and this is how they came to know about her absence. So, now, as I told you, that what happened on Wednesday, that they noticed Wanda's absence. So, this is what happened. So, they often waited for Wanda before school to have some fun with her on the way. But on Wednesday, when they were waiting for her, she did not come. And because they were waiting for her, they were late for school. So that is why when they reached school, straight away they looked at that corner where Wanda used to sit, and the corner was empty. So, like this, they came to know about her absence. Now, page number 65. Let's see what happens after this on page number 65. The author talks about the strange name of Wanda, Wanda Petronsky. We are told that most children in room 13 had easy names like Thomas, Smith, or Ellen. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought it was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. So all the children, they targeted Wanda because of her strange name. They found Wanda Petronsky a strange name. So children in room 13. Now what is room 13? Room 13 is their classroom. So rest of the children, they had easy names like Thomas, Smith, or Ellen, but this name was different, and therefore she became a target. So this is Wanda. So Wanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. So you can see the faded blue dress she is wearing, and it didn't hang right. Now, what is the meaning of didn't hang right? It means ill-fitting dress. Wanda didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Why? So this is the next question. We are told that she didn't have any friends, but still girls talked to her. So what is the reason? The girls, they would surround her as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch. So we can see here girls, the fun started here. So girls, they used to surround her as she was watching other girls play, and all the fun started here. Wanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Wanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up there in your closet? So nudge here means to give a gentle push. So in a very mocking way, Peggy would ask Wanda that tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? Now first let's answer this question that Wanda didn't have any friends, but still a lot of girls talked to her. So this is because of her strange behavior, her strange looks, and strange name. So girls talked to her, but only to make fun of her. So that is the reason why girls talked to her, even though they were not friends with her. Now page 66. To this Wanda would answer, 100. Yeah, 100 all lined up. So these are the dresses that Wanda talked about. All the girls would exclaim incredulously, 100. Further teasing Wanda, Peggy would say, what are they like? All silk? I bet. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too. Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. So Wanda would very quietly and very calmly she would repeat that yes, she had 100 dresses. They are all silk and they're velvet too, and they're all lined up in the closet. Now, stolidly, it means not showing any feeling, dull, cold, and unemotional. So, very plainly and calmly, she used to answer. After this, the girls would let her go and laugh at her back. Obviously, she had only one dress, the blue faded one that she wore to school every day. So the girls would think that she was making stories. So sometimes they would ask, how many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. So this is how Wanda would answer them. So this is Wanda answering them. Then we came to know a little more about Peggy. So now the author tells us more about the girl Peggy who started all the fun. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda? She would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that it was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. So, this is about Peggy. So, Peggy, we are told, she was not cruel. She protected little children from bullies. But when she was mistreating or mocking at Wanda, she did not feel that she was bullying her because she felt that Wanda was lying. And after all, they have never made her cry. So the question comes, did Peg realize that she was teasing Wanda? So obviously she did not realize that. No, Peggy did not realize that she was teasing Wanda. She could counter this by saying why she lied about the dresses then. She felt Wanda was different because of her strange name. Moreover, Wanda never cried. Had Wanda felt bad about it or cried because of it, she would have complained. So, because of this, Peggy felt that what she was doing was right. She was not at all teasing Wanda, and she felt since Wanda was lying, that is why she was not feeling bad about it. So now, page 67. The attention then moves on to Medi. Guilt was bothering her. All this business of asking such questions from Wanda every day filled her with remorse. But why? So we'll come to know what was happening with Medi. So now you can understand two girls very close, but they have different character. So Peggy was not at all feeling bad about what she was doing with Wanda, but Medi, she was guilty conscious, but still she was not able to speak up. So Mary was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. So we are told that Mary herself was poor and was wearing somebody's hand-me-down clothes. So hand-me-down clothes means old ones. She felt that she had she been living up on Boggins Heights or had a funny name, she would have been on the next target for Peggy. So, in a way, she related herself to Wanda, therefore, she was filled with remorse. So, this is what we get the reason why she was filled with remorse because she related herself to Wanda and she was feeling that if she was also living on Boggins Heights and she had a funny name like Wanda, then she also would have been a target for Peggy. So she never participated in the game but was always a mute spectator because she didn't have the courage to stop Peggy. So because she felt bad for Wanda, she never participated in the game, but she never opposed it also. So she was a mute spectator. So why is Mary embarrassed by the questions Peggy asks Wanda? Is she also like Wanda or is she different? So this is textbook question on page 67. Maddie was embarrassed by the questions not because she felt bad about Wanda. If Peggy had not invented this game, she would have never paid attention to Wanda. Since she too was poor like Wanda, maybe not as poor, she felt that she could be the next target of the students. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky, but never has the courage to stop her. So here we are told that why Mary was embarrassed. So Mary, she was embarrassed because she felt bad for Wanda. But she did not have the courage to tell Peggy that she was doing wrong. Now, why she doesn't have that courage, we'll be reading ahead. So Peggy had invented the game, but she says that if Peggy had not invented this game, then she would not have even paid attention to Wanda. Who was Wanda? She was another girl in the class. So then there was no concern of her about Wanda. But now, since Peggy was mocking at her, making fun of her, so Van Wanda, Maddie felt that since she was poor like Wanda, maybe not as poor, but she felt that she could be the next target. So she was a little afraid that only if that was happening to her, how could she be feeling? Now coming to the present time. So this we are told about the background story, how the girls they were mocking at her and she was absent on Monday, then Tuesday and Wednesday. So now what happens next? So when they were late for the school, so that's Wednesday, they were late for the school. Mary was happy as they didn't meet Wanda and thus couldn't make fun of her. So we are told since Mary she was regretting that why Peggy teases that girl, so she was happy on Wednesday because Wanda was not there and therefore they did not get the chance to tease her on that day. But she worked absent-mindedly in the school the whole day. She feared she might be the next target. Now, since Wanda was not there, so in her mind, she was figuring that only if she becomes the next target. So now we are on page 68. Betty was thinking only if Peggy herself stopped teasing Wanda. She even thought Peggy was the best liked girl. How could she do something wrong? So Wanda was still in her mind. She was thinking that only if Peggy herself stopped teasing Wanda. But she also thought that since Peggy was the best liked girl, how could she do something wrong? Thinking about Wanda, Mary thought that she was just another lonely girl from Bogginsides. Then Mary remembered Wanda telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings, and she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You'd look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in pretended admiration. So when Wanda was talking about her dresses, the girls said that you will look like a Christmas tree in that green dress. So they again laughed at her. So this was just a remembrance, a past incident that was coming in Mary's mind. The 100 dresses of Wanda drifted her thoughts to the drawing and coloring competition. So now, as she was thinking about Wanda's 100 dresses, the drawing competition came to her mind. So, for girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, it was for designing motorboats. So, probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone in the classroom. So, again, everyone thought that Peggy was going to win the medal for girls' side. And Peggy, because Peggy drew better than anyone. At least that's what everybody thought. Now, this is important. So, it was at least what everybody thought. Now, what does this mean? So, we have a question also. Who did Mary think would win the drawing contest and why? So, this is textbook question on page number 70. Everybody in room 13 thought that Peggy was going to win the competition, not because she had won many competitions before, but because she could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's face so that you could almost guess who it was. So that is what it means when they say at least that's what everybody thought. So they were not sure, but since she was popular and she could draw the pictures, not draw, she could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's face, and that could almost, so children they could almost guess that who it was. So therefore they thought that she was going to win. And there was no one else in the class who did better than Peggy. She was popular, smart, and intelligent girl, and therefore everybody thought that she was going to win the competition. And also, nobody knew about the talent of Wanda. So, this is another reason. Nobody knew that Wanda could draw so well. So, therefore, only Peggy was left, and they thought that she was going to win. Now, everybody was waiting for the next day when the result was to be announced. Next day, it was drizzling. So, Peggy and Mary they hurried to the school for two reasons. So, which were the reasons and why? So, why didn't they wait for Wanda on the day it was raining? So, these questions they are related, and we have the answer. They hurried to the school because it was the result of the drawing and coloring competition that was going to be announced that day. And since it was drizzling, they didn't want to get wet in case it started raining heavily, or on days like these, they didn't stop to wait for Wanda. So, these are the reasons why they didn't wait for Wanda on that day. First reason is it was drizzling and they didn't want to get wet in case it started raining heavily. And on days like these means when it is drizzling and raining, so they didn't stop to wait for Wanda because that street, it was a dusty street and they didn't want to wait there. Now, and they didn't want to take chances that day as it was the day of the result. And especially on that day, they didn't wait because it was the day of the result. And they didn't want to take chances like the previous day. If you remember, so on Wednesday they were late because they kept on waiting for Wanda. Now on page 69, with many apprehensive thoughts, the girls they entered their classroom. The moment they entered, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room. On every ledge and windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant, lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, all lined up. They were the dresses of the contest, but there was more to it. Miss Mason entered and announced the winner of the boys' competition. So Miss Mason entered and first she announced the winner from the boys' side. Jack Bagels has won for the boys, she said, and his design for an outboard motor was in the exhibition room 12, along with the sketches by all other boys. So first she announces for the boys. Then came the moment of truth. As for the girls, she said, although just one or two sketches they were submitted by most, one girl, and room 13 should be proud of her, this one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I'm very happy to say that Wanda Petronsky is the winner of the girls' medal. So, Miss Mason announces that Wanda is the winner and she tells about her 100 designs. On page 70, Miss Mason said that it was unfortunate that Wanda had not been coming to school for 3 days and therefore cannot receive the applause. She hoped Wanda would be back the next day. So everyone was glad and celebrating. Maddie and Peggy, they were amazed to see her drawings. Peggy said to Maddie, and here's that green one, boy, and I thought I could draw. So why do you think Peggy said that? She couldn't believe that Wanda could draw so beautifully. She had always thought her to be a dumb girl. Looking at Wanda's drawings, Peggy felt that she was nowhere close to Wanda. So here she is really appreciating her drawings. Now the important questions. Why didn't Maddie ask Peggy to stop teasing Wanda? What was she afraid of? So this is an important question. It is the textbook question on page number 70 and back exercise question number 3. Maddie's conscience was pricking her and she was not able to gather enough courage to ask Peggy to stop teasing Wanda. She felt if she stopped Peggy, the girls might pick her as their new target. Because after opposing Peggy, she might lose the friendship of the most popular girl in room 13 and would not be under her shelter anymore. Then, if Peggy asked her about her dresses, she would have to speak the truth. The truth that the dresses were Peggy's old ones, which her mother had tried to disguise with the new trimmings, so that no one could recognize it. Then everyone would come to know that she too was poor. So all these thoughts stopped her. So this is what was going on in Mary's mind, and because of which she was not able to stand for Wanda. Next important question is, did Wanda have 100 dresses? Why do you think she said that? This is textbook question on page number 67. Wanda did not have 100 dresses. She was too poor to own them. But still, she told the girls that she had 100 dresses all lined up. As a girl, she too wanted to wear beautiful dresses and look pretty like the other girls. But she could not because of her poverty. So she drew all those dresses on paper, the dresses she had imagined to wear. She had drawn 100 dresses, all different and beautiful. So therefore, she told them that she had 100 dresses. Why was Wanda a target for everyone? Or how was Wanda different from others? So this is textbook question on page number 67. Wanda was a Polish girl with a different name, Wanda Petronsky. Others in room 13 had simple and easy names like Thomas, Smith, Ellen. She belonged to a poor family and lived at Boggins Heights, which was a dirty and shabby place to live. Since she walked from her home to school every day, her feet were always muddy, because of which she sat in the corner of the room where rough boys sat who did not make good marks. Most of the time she kept quiet and rarely laughed. She always wore the same faded blue dress, and when questioned about her dresses, she answered that she had 100 of them, all lined up. This made everyone laugh at her, and she became a game for them. So, this is the reason why she was target and how she was different from others. How is Wanda seen as different by the other girls, and how do they treat her? Now I have already discussed this. How is Wanda seen as different by other girls? So I'm not writing that answer here again. That is the previous question. How do they treat her? We will answer this. And this is question number 1 of back exercise. The girls did not treat Wanda well. They always made fun of her and her 100 dresses that she mentioned, because every day she wore the same faded blue dress to school. The girls thought that she was cooking stories and teased her every now and then. So she was not treated well by the girls. They made fun of her. Now, how does Wanda feel about the dresses game? Why does she say that she has 100 dresses? Now, this question, since Wanda, she was being mocked at by the girls almost every day. So, what was going on inside Wanda? So, Wanda did not react to the mocking questions of the girls. She remained calm and answered politely to their questions. She didn't cry or complain about it to the teacher, but she must have been hurt. That is why she changed her school and went to a new city. So now we are told that Wanda is answering to all the questions very calmly and politely. She answers that she has 100 dresses all lined up, all different. But she must have been hurt, because later in the chapter we come to know that she has changed her school and she went to a new city. And the reason is because of these mocking questions, because she was a target, which we later on come to know from the letter that her father writes. How is Mary different from Peggy? So now the contrast of these two best friends. This is back exercise question number 3. Peggy is a rich girl who is very popular in school. She is pretty and has many beautiful clothes. Mary, on the other hand, is poor, though not as poor as Wanda. So we are told that she is poor, but not as poor as Wanda. She wears hand-me-down clothes of Peggy by disguising them with colorful trimmings. Peggy and Mary, they are best friends, almost inseparable. Though Mary is always with Peggy when she asks Wanda about her dresses in a mocking way, but she would just stand there and not be a part of the dresses game. She felt bad about Wanda and wished that Peggy would herself stop teasing Wanda. She didn't have the courage to say so to Wanda. Peggy, on the other hand, never thought that she was doing something wrong, as Wanda never complained. So these are the characters. Mary all the time thought that what they were doing was wrong, but did not have the courage to tell Peggy, whereas Peggy, she did not realize that she was doing wrong. So Peggy, she was popular, she was rich, whereas Maddie was poor, not as poor as Wanda, but still she related herself to Wanda and wished that Peggy herself stopped teasing Wanda. Now, what does Miss Mason think of Wanda's drawings? This is back exercise question number 4. Miss Mason appreciated all the drawings of Wanda. She proudly announced her name in the class and displayed all her drawings in room 13. She praised Wanda for sending 100 entries in the contest, all different and beautiful. She also said that even the judges thought that any one of the drawings was worthy of winning the prize. So Miss Mason was all praise for her drawings. So this is the first part of the chapter. The long questions like the theme and the character sketches that I'll be doing after I complete the part 2 of the chapter. So this is all for today. With this, we finish the first chapter. Do subscribe to my channel. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Also, do tell me how helpful did you find it. Check the playlist where there are other videos of other chapters and of grammar. In grammar, I have covered reported speech, I have covered analytical paragraph, and there is solution to the writing section of the CBSE sample paper. So do check the other videos. Follow me on Instagram because there I keep you updated what video I'm going to post next. So thank you very much and happy watching.